Okay, hello and welcome everyone. We are about to begin the Elite Aspect F125 Draft Night, where we have 10 team principals who were randomly selected their constructors and assigned those. And then in the end, they were randomly selected in order to draft 2 rounds. So round one, round two. In round one, they will draft their driver number one. In round two, they will draft their driver number two. We did 2 series of testing over 2 weekends. One at Bahrain, the other at Spain, where we got a lot of data on these drivers. So it was up to these team principals to watch and make sure that they were responsive and can see who's doing what and who they may want to draft in the upcoming season. We have a cost cap of $100 million. They cannot spend all that because they have to first purchase engines, chassis, and gearboxes for the season. They must change their gearbox and engine at least once during the season. And yes, any incidents in the season with their drivers and their chassis and something like that may result in them being required to sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Somebody interrupted me. But with that going on, what we really need to talk about here, or one, before we get started here, and it's explicitly to exactly when we do get started here, the team principals will get 3 minutes to select a driver. If not, we move on to the next team principal. Simple as that. The driver picked first will be the number one driver, and the second driver picked will be the number two driver. These contracts will last for 1 season. A little offshoot note, we were thinking about half season, full season, 2 year salaries and trying to prorate and stuff like that. But trying to get the season going and everything, it just became a little bit too much to think about at the moment, but we'll keep that in mind for seasons going on. As far as those rules are concerned, I may leave it up for someone in the chats to tell me they are ready to get started. Because as far as I know, where's my, here we go. So this is kind of what we're looking at here. On the left side, we have the draft order. Obviously, each team principal in round one, that's the order of the team they run. The driver they'll choose, a salary, and then left to spend, that'll decrease as we put those numbers in. And then over on the right-hand side of the screen, you do see the drivers and their salaries. Not sure why Harrison Holmes is above AMS Vettel there, but AMS Vettel was our top-rated driver. But Harrison Holmes coming in quick in Spain over the final couple days, and yeah, it just made us believe. So we'll see how that happens. But as you see, what's going to happen during the session, as a team principal weighs in and says, "Hey, I'm going to draft." They will draft that driver, and I will highlight that driver, and then they will be on that team from then on out. So, if we are ready to get ready, as soon as Debbie Schumi in the Williams, if you would like to throw your pick in, we would appreciate that. So lots to think about here, though, as engines cost money. So if you have to replace one, it's $4 million a pop. Chassis or $1 million a pop. You need 2 to start the season. You need at least 2 engines to start the season. You need at least 2 gearboxes to start the season. The 3-minute timer has started on Williams Boss Winter XR, who is also known as Debbie Schumi, as far as I understand. So it looks like the first pick is in, and it will be AMS Vettel will be driving for the Williams. So we will highlight that in just a second. As we will see here, AMS Vettel, salary of 42 million. Jevi Shumi's last pick, he cannot spend more than 38 million, as we see that change down here in the bottom. And then we will highlight AMS Vettel out of the pick. So, as the pick is in, we are on now to ONV Sebuka in the V Carb for the Racing Bulls, or the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. And it looks as though the pick was in rather quickly, as I believe we are seeing Marcus Olmedo off the board. To the V Carb. Which gives, picking 8th in the second round, 45 million to spare. So definitely holding on to some money for things that may or may not need to happen throughout the season. Well, if that is the pick for, I believe we call him Jadane, is the Mercedes team boss, and should be up for their next pick. I need to go ahead and get Marcus Olmedo out of here. As it is 3 minutes on the clock. Again, the team principal, when they draft their first driver, that will be driver number 1. Their second driver drafted will be driver number 2 under the team that they will run. They started the draft order with 100 million. Before we started the draft, they have a cost cap of $100 million, or pounds, or however much you want to spend, or it doesn't matter the currency. We're keeping it, call it credits. And to begin the season, well, you need at least 2 engines, 2 chassis, and 2 gearboxes to start the season. And at some point during the season, you're going to have to, just like F1, trying to be realistic here, you're going to have to replace your gearbox or your engine at least once. So you can go ahead and spend that money now, which is what we did. So if somebody's picking high and can, doesn't buy an engine first, which they're going to have to eventually purchase, that's the question. So can you gamble on getting 2 good drivers? Is you can generate income. These team principals make money during the season as their drivers win races or finish high. There's money involved in that. So as we are still waiting on the pick of Jadane in the Mercedes. And yeah, absolutely. Who knows? Zero. Keep your head on a swivel, because we're not going to mess about with this. If can't pick. We do understand. We'll get the team sorted and assigned, obviously, throughout the season before everything begins. And if they are still team principals, we'll still have them. If not, we will make sure everything works accordingly, as we are capable. As it was a very unsurprising pick from Debbie Schumi and the Williams team principal, selecting AMS Vettel first overall. ONB Sabuka taking place of the V Carbs. Selected Marcus Olmedo, who was, kind of one of our mid-tier rated drivers. I would say maybe as far as the asking price, a little bit underrated, and could have been up there in that 8, 9, 10 range of 38, 37 mil. So I think a nice smart pick there from ONB Sabuka. Oh, wow, that transpired very, very quickly. Wow. So I'm going to go ahead and ask again before we move in. There's one quick question here. They'll respond to me in chat, I know. We skipped Jadane, and Zero picked Young Lights, as far as I know, which is XNG LIGHTC. Oh, well, no, I can't do that. It's 39 million. Okay. So, very interesting to see now as money gets a little bit loosened up with more top drivers moving on down to the second half of draft round 1. So, it looks like Hella High in the Red Bull is our next draftee. I believe Hella High is drafting XR8 Ryan for 40 mil. Young Lights, if you could refer the Williams boss to any of the things that we've sent out already as far as how much stuff costs, I would appreciate that, because I'm not going to be able to explain it. I mean, I can't explain it now. Engines are 4 million a piece. You need at least 2 to start the season. Yes, I've already charged you for 2 more because some turn during the season you need to purchase those again. Because you have to replace it at least once during the season. So you could sell me back 2 engines, and you'd have 8 million more to spend. But at some place in the season, you are going to have to spend 4 million to replace one of the engines somewhere. It could be on the last day, as long as you replace it at least once. So there you go. I'm gonna have to deal with that. So it looks like the Sauber boss Formula Jonah, who was next to pick, is taking Harrison Holmes, I believe, who impressed us very much all in Spain, and deserves that price tag. I don't think I marked off some of these guys who we know have been drafted, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Sorry, Brian, I did not get rid of. Alrighty, so it looks like Fabregas is on the clock. I'm going to respond to somebody here 1 second. So, actually, well, all disclosure, I am Fabregas, and I've done a little bit of research, and Fabregas is going to pick Florissant 22 as his driver. in the first round. And we'll go ahead and mark them out. And if that's all said and done, since I'm streaming and I can see people in chats, and there is a delay obviously with the stream, I have put in my pick for Florissant at 36 million for the Aston Martin, as I am team principal of. We should be down to ice cream now in the McLaren. So yes, we are now on the clock with Team Bros of McLaren ice cream. 3 minutes on the clock. As we wait, some strange comings. I mean, obviously we still got 3 rounds here in round 1, and I can't not see any of those top drivers going off the board here. It's going to be interesting to see how round 2 plays out. As in, I'll try to explain this to Winter X Williams team's boss. Is yes, the 20 million has already been taken out. So you started with 100 million. I started you at 80 million. If you want to sell me back a engine, I'll give you $4 million for it. So there was that, but nobody got back to me as far as that. So we didn't really have a problem. So everything's fine. You're definitely not way over budget already. So if we had done it that way, the top drivers would have never gotten drafted because no team could afford them and have a second driver anyway. So we're all good there. I do apologize for that, as we are waiting on Ice Cream, the McLaren boss, who did become a team principal, decided they wanted to become a team principal. And we did the draft and all that stuff in fair order. And we just didn't post it because me, as the finance commentator guy, I didn't want to be a team principal. We wanted to let that up. So other guys joined and wanted to be team principal, so I gave up my spot, and then something else happened, so somebody left, so I took over, and back and forth and back and forth. I don't want to have to explain it again, but if somebody wants to come in and my team is managed properly and wants to take over as a team principal halfway through the season, I'm okay with that. So I don't know who Devi Shumi is then. He's not the team principal of the Williams that selected AMS Vettel. So, well, hit me up. Let me know. I want to correct that. Yeah, we're not going to wait around for you guys to get this draft done. So still back in. So it's Winter X. Okay. There we go. Winter X is now the team principal of Williams, who selected. Devi Shumi is apparently me for some reason. So yeah, y'all stop messing with me. Oh, you're right, because I've got that up right now because nobody's doing anything. So I'm listening to you. I'm watching you. So is we going to put that in as McLaren boss Ice Cream is going to take Frigate 3360? Is that what we're going with? All right. Then we move on to Dooney in Ferrari. Dooney, the Ferrari boss, will be next on the clock. Choose their driver. We need to X out frigate here. Should be able to now. I'll go ahead and do that as well. 1 second. This is what you got left. Okay. All right. So, Ferrari boss, Dooney, on the clock. Sent the numbers. It's got their first pick to come. Still some really, really, really top drivers out there. I will say that. Joe Animator, YouTube, who I've called Joan for short. Fixing some things here in chat. Obviously, mistakes will be made. That'll be Marcos Olmedo. And I do believe that Dooney has selected. Trying to make sure I learn how to type this. I didn't do it right. Animator. That's 40 million. I'll take them off the board. I'll put that back in chat again. You guys can see that. As it is Chalupa in the Haas. Team principal. I believe is taking AMS RevRob. We're at 39 million. All right. Well, that's going to conclude the first round of our draft order. We'll take a 1 second intermission, unless Jonah gets his pick in here, but that's fine. We'll reveal that as soon as that, just 1 second intermission before we begin round 2 to just make sure everybody's square and everything's good. right, we're back here with Elite Aspect F125. We're here in the driver's draft. As we're going to get underway, just took a brief intermission there, as we can all see on screen that our first rounds have been done. On the right side of the left screen, you will see that this is how much these drivers have to spend actually on their next driver. However, it would behoove the driver to save some money for any sort of rental or allotment of fees for reserve drivers in practice sessions, any wrecks that might require a new gearbox or chassis replacement, stuff like that. So I believe Formula Jonah was on the clock and may have already got his pick in. Is that right? Is that right? Was the pick in? Somebody hit me up. Selected King Kong. I believe. Is that correct? Okay. Which is 27 million. And I didn't set that. So I can switch this to I believe it is Chalupa and the Haas, who is taking Folk Masters. Looks like taking Folk Masters. Is that correct? I believe Chalupa choking Folk Masters at 41 million to spin. Folk Masters is 35 million. Should leave you with 6 million left. Dooney in the Ferrari. We are ready to go. Animator YouTube in the first round with the 9th pick. Here has the 3rd pick in the second round. So Chalupa and the Haas as a partnership of Folk Masters and AMS RevRub. Jonah with the Sauber is running Harrison Holmes, who set a lightning fast speed in Spain, and King Kong, who was actually present in quite a few sessions and was putting in some decent lap times, I will say that. Just making sure we confirm. Yes, that Ferrari boss Dooney is taking XR8 Rob. XR8 Rob. Price of 38 million, which leaves them 2 million in reserve. That's a lineup right there. Ferrari with Animator YouTube and XR8 Rob went full throttle on spinning on the drivers. So may try to save some with race winnings. Two really good drivers. Absolutely. And if I'm looking at this right, I believe the McLaren boss Ice Cream is taking XR8 Raphael. Am I saying this right? Looks like that's right for 39 million. Wow, that's gonna cut it really, really close there, Mr. Ice Cream. Hope both your drivers show up for week one. I was gone too. All right. So the McLaren boss, Bars. Yeah. McLaren chose Raphael. I don't think we skipped anybody, unless that's Jadane. I should be on the clock right now. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, alrighty. And it looks like it is had a little something happened there. Just wanted to keep you guys aware that I mean, if you guys want to talk to him, then you guys can tell him that he can pick later or get the best of the best that's left. So, holding up the stream here. Actually, if we want to be honest, it is my pick for the Aston Martin team. Who in the first round I did pick Florissant 2. And then it is my pick now. And I can't pick Folk Masters. I'm sorry. I do need to make sure I block that one off as well. Wait, what just happened? Somebody picked somebody? I haven't picked anybody. He picked Mark F1 as his first driver? Okay. Just in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I think we're good there. Okay. Well, okay, I'm not sure where that's going to go anyway. I don't really care. Moving on with the stream. I should be on the clock, and I think I've already made my choice. It will be MDJ 2002. MDJ. Who is a cost of 36 million. So leaves me 8 million left. All right, I believe hella high on the clock. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark F1 is now blocked out. That was Jadane's late first pick. Which I think would have been a fantastic first pick overall, to be honest. Has plenty to spend in the second round. We'll have plenty of money to maybe invest later. So yeah, hella high. Red Bull boss. Let's go. I believe the Red Bull boss of hella high is taking Link's Peace, which I believe is a fantastic pick. That was 34. Saving them 6 million. Not 60 million. Just 6. Yeah. Just looking in the chat and seeing what I'm seeing as well. Yeah, Link's consistent, solid pick there. I think so. I think so. So, and if we can get Jadane now, Mercedes, plenty of money to spend. And so does ONB Sabuka. So, four spots available. ONB Alberto at 37 mil. Yeah, especially for. Make sure we change that to proper. Winter X. Yeah, we're just waiting on. Well, I mean, it's as much as I see, as funny as that is. You've already got your chassis, your engines, and your gearboxes already. Yeah. Um, you've got plenty of money to spend on a second driver, which will be. I mean, I would choose ONB Alberto if I was you, but Pokemasters is no longer available. Hey, if you guys want to talk among yourself as team principals and swap trades and money, you guys go right ahead. He is very quick. ONB Alberto is very quick. Took part in the earlier sessions in Bahrain, I believe. Um, it, honestly, if you took Mark F1 and ONB Alberto, I don't think you're going to need that many chassis, but yeah, pick somebody. I think that's a fantastic pick. Plus 12. $32 million. Leaving us with 11 million left. I think that's a fantastic pick. All right. So, looks like ONB Sabuka, VCarb Racing Bulls, Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. What are they? It would be. Yes, sir. It is your turn, sir. All right. So there it is. ONB Alberto off the board. 37 million. We'll just make that flat 80 million. Flat 8 million. So there we go. If zero is on the clock. Zero is on the clock. So did zero choose Poison Harbor here? All right. Is that right? Cost 27 million, and you got 41 million left. Well, that leaves you with 14 million left. And then Winter X. Debbie Shumi, not Debbie Shumi, Winter X, the Williams team principal. Drum roll. Next show. I think that's a fantastic pick. $30 million. Leaves you with $8 million left. So there you go. That's going to do it for the draft. For Elite Aspect F125. Those are the who drafted who in the first round. And we can show the, what happened again as far as these drivers are rated, but you can see them on the right side, how, their salaries. And then we look at the second round and see the salaries of those drivers. So yeah, some drivers went in the middle, which was really fun to see. But I think we've got some really good lineups out there as well. And this should be really fun to watch, especially going into the season. And yeah, I mean, this is just fake money we're playing with here, but at the same time, having some money for telling your drivers get out there and push and go hard, or, be the team principal. Talk to your drivers. Tell them what your expectations are. Put some pressure on them, maybe. So it could be fun. At the same time, that's the end of the draft. Those are the teams. And you see on the bottom right, that's the amount of funds that each team principal will have left over to start the season. Again, they've all purchased the set amount of engines, gearboxes, and chassis that they will need to take place in an entire full season of Elite Aspect F125. But at the same time, if their drivers aren't winning and they're having to replace a chassis or a gearbox every week, that money is coming out explicitly quickly. First off, you've got a bucket you're not even putting any money into, and it's got holes in it. So you're spending money on chassis and gearboxes every week, but you're not getting any income coming in because your drivers aren't finishing. So that would be really fun to see as we get into the season going on here. Oh, I believe, yeah, that's going to do it for Elite Aspect F125 draft. As the team principals now have their drivers, everybody's set up as to how much money they have left. Everybody knows. I'll be making specific cards going out to each team principal as to where their funds will and can be allocated, and then they can just communicate with me as far as making that happen if something needs to be happen. Besides that, I think that was a good draft. I think we got some really solid teams going out there. We'll go ahead and post that for you here shortly as far as the team principal, what team, and then the two drivers that work for that as well. So we'll go ahead and work on that in just a little bit and then move forward. So I do really appreciate you guys watching. That's going to do it for this episode as we just ran through the draft for team principals here at Elite Aspect F1 2025. So really looking forward to starting the season next week in Australia. We will be with you, bringing it to you live, all practice and qualifying sessions, and then of course the race in its whole 100% entirety. So we'll be looking to talk to you guys a little later, and do appreciate you guys attending this event. For you team principals, well done. Thank you for understanding how this works, and good luck to you guys in the season to come. I'm signing off, Fabregas 115, and we'll see you later this week for preseason testing or practice sessions around Young Lights.